Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Kayla Morrison.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here. It's colder here than it is from where I got on the plane this morning. We haven't even had our first frost in Oklahoma, so it is a little bit colder here. When Russ called me and asked me if I could come speak, he wanted me to talk about what it's like to live on a reservation, what it's like to live under a tribal government. And so that is what I will be addressing tonight. The first thing is, if we were back in Oklahoma and had a meeting this size, several things would have happened or would not have happened. For one thing, there could have been the walls lined with tribal police. The other thing is, that has happened at meetings I've been at. Other times, we couldn't find a place to meet because the tribal government had so much influence on all the public meetings, so there literally was no place to meet. The other thing that's happened is that the meeting would be disrupted by tribal police, and they would come in and threaten to arrest us because for free speech, basically. And that is exactly what would happen on a reservation. You have no free speech. You know, the speaker was talking about this is like the cradle of a lot of liberties that are not available to tribal members or non-members living under a tribal government. The U.S. Constitution does not apply on Indian land. Now, let me say that again. The U.S. Constitution does not apply on tribal land. All of the guarantees that we are so used to and that allows us to have a meeting like this does not apply to tribal land. You have no right to free speech. You have no right to free press. All of those rights that we are so used to and that guards us is not there. Now, the other side, the tribal government say, well, the Indian Civil Rights Act applies, which is really a gutted U.S. constitutional rights. But the reality is they're unenforceable. The reality is that tribal governments can suppress free speech, free press. When I got off the plane, there was a newspaper reporter, a radio reporter did an interview with me, and that on Indian lands, that wouldn't have happened. The tribal governments has so much influence into any media, either the newspapers, radio stations, television stations, that they can control the content of the information being disseminated. They could do that either by owning the paper directly, or they do that by their advertising dollars, or they do that by the political pressure. But the end result is they can control the content of the press. And so when you don't have a group of citizens that are not informed of the situation, then you have a group of people that cannot vote their conscience because they don't have all the information. So the liberties that we are so used to don't exist on Indian reservations. The other big thing, the major difference in reservation versus mainstream America is the economy. We have a rentier economy. That means that it's not a free market economy that we are used to here. A free market economy that pays taxes, where the businesses pay taxes and we pay property taxes that support our government, support our police, and support all the things that we're used to having. Under a reservation system, the economy is driven by federal tax dollars. And it's driven by federal tax dollars that come into the reservation, and then it is spread around by the powers that be. That is the tribal council, that's the tribal chief, and those that they support. So it's a very limited control, and it's a through economy. When the money comes in, they use that to hire tribal employees who do what they want them to do. For us that live on reservations, our leaders go to Congress every year and say, we're poor, we're uneducated, we're sick people, give us more money. And so Congress feels guilty and they allocate more money. Of every dollar Congress allocates to tribal governments to benefit me as a tribal person, 89 cents of that dollar goes to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And so the 11 cents that actually comes to my tribal government, half of it goes to support tribal employees. That only represents 1% of the tribal population. So I am competing with 99% of our population for 5.5 cents. So my share, when it trickles down to me, my share of the federal dollar that's used to benefit me is only 0.0005 cents. Now, tell me what I can buy with that. But so the economy of reservations is not built to be a free market economy. It's not built to support businesses. It's not built to encourage businesses and support all of the services that the tax dollar is meant to support. It is a system that is built to really just shuffle money around the chosen few. And all of the services that tribes provide are all funded by federal dollars, which creates more of a patronage system, which creates more graft and more corruption. The other thing about